Hello everybody, hello. This famous Brown, y'all. And I thought, being that we're getting to the close of February and close of Black History Month, that I'll do a little talking about Black history. Now, I can't speak on what went on during slavery back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s because I wasn't here. I heard it wasn't too good for black folks, but I only can talk about what I saw, what I did, and what I understood from the time I was born until now. Now, back in the 70s, in 1977, Richmond elected its first majority black city council and black mayor. And that's where I want to start from. And the reason I want to start from there is because we were tricked. And before you put negative comments on my page, listen to what I have to say. Richmond became under black leadership about the same time that Atlanta, Georgia, with Maynard Jackson took over. Maynard Jackson made sure that when it came down to dealing with city contracts, that black contractors got their fair share of the contracts. But in Richmond, nothing changed. Black contractors couldn't get a lot of the city contracts. Even under black leadership, our black leaders failed us because they were afraid to speak up, afraid to make decisions when they had the power in their hands. And now let's start off in 1978. For the older people, they understand. The younger people may not know. But we had a football game called the Maggie Walker Football Classic that drew over 30,000 people every year to a high school football game. Never had any arguments, never had any fights, and everybody would come together on that weekend. Folks don't understand that it was did away with under black leadership. What? Oh, excuse me, let me take a drink. Before I get finished with y'all tonight, a whole lot of y'all gonna take a drink. One of the greatest events that took place in the city of Richmond was canceled by black folks when they were in charge. Now, blacks have been in leadership in the city of Richmond for more than 3 decades. And a decade is 10 years. And in that period of time, instead of our leaders making it strong and putting stuff in position for the black community so they could prosper and have economic power, they slowly destroyed everything black that had power in the city of Richmond. There were many black stores, many black business people in Richmond in the 70s. Well, let's start with the 60s. In the 60s, 70s, what happened was when they integrated the businesses in Richmond, a lot of folks didn't want to buy from blacks anymore. They preferred to go and buy from white businesses. And I'm not talking as a racist, and I'm not talking discrimination. What I'm saying is, once the door were open for black folks to spend money with white folks, they left black businesses alone. Because in the black community during that time, it was enough money circulating in the black community to keep economic power in the black community. And once integration set in, once blacks started being able to go to white universities and colleges, they faded away from the black side of life and they went to the white side of life. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. What I'm saying is now, look at our communities. We have lost most of our black businesses. And it's because blacks stopped supporting black. Let me say that one more time. Blacks stopped supporting blacks. All those convenience stores that you go to and spend your money that's popping up in your neighborhood that have people from different countries running them were one time ran by black folks. I don't think y'all hear me. Go take a drink and come back. And the reason I bring that up is because when I go into a store and spend my money, I would like for some of that money to stay right in that community. Now, when you ride around, you'll see signs all over the community saying skill games support the community. Listen, follow where I'm going with this. Most of the convenience stores in the communities are operated by foreigners. Okay? They won't even buy an ad on a black radio station, put an ad on a black newspaper, or support anything black or anything in the community. Think about it now. Look at all those newspapers look at the free press. Look at all the magazines. How many of those magazines do you see an ad from one of those convenience stores? They won't buy ads in your high school graduation books or your community when your churches are doing things in the community and have a souvenir book. They don't want to buy ads in that. So how is it that skill games is going to support the community when that money goes out of the community and never comes back? Think about it now. When the casino was being advertised and talked about providing over 4,000 brand new jobs, people fought it. Now look at them convenience stores. Very rare, especially in the black neighborhood, do you see one of us working there unless we stocking the shelves, or if they selling food, they might put us in the kitchen. But they have their own, they hire their own people. Follow where I'm going with this, if you may. When I had 2 radio stations here, the city of Richmond, in over 20 years, only spent $1,400 with me on the radio. And I'm not saying that in a negative way or saying that I'm mad about it. What I'm saying is, under black leadership, they should have made arrangements for not just me, but the free press. They had the Voice newspaper. They had Key Awareness. They had the Urban View. They had, plus my newspaper, I had a newspaper too, the Heart and Soul of the City. That's 5 newspapers that our black leaders should have made sure that the city spend some type of money to help prolong it so it could still be here. We have no outlet for information for black folks. Unless you look at the news at 6 o'clock or Fox News, which very rare tell you the truth. But we have no means of communication like we used to. And before the Richmond Free Press, it was the Afro, the Richmond Afro. So when the white newspapers and stuff wouldn't print stuff that we needed to know about, you could always count on the Ebony magazine, the Jet magazine, and the Afro. And at that time, you had WANT, WENZ, and WKIE to get your news and other information so you could communicate and know what's going on in the black neighborhood. Who you have now? What source of information do we have now to inform our community when we need to talk to them? Everybody's on Facebook like I am, on the internet, podcasts and stuff like that. But what mainstream outlet do we have for the black community after more than 30-some years of black leadership? Show me a black community like Carytown, Scott's Addition. And I'm not saying this as a racist, but I'm saying that the white folks made sure they had communities where they could come in and shop, live and shop in the same community, and let the money circulate in that neighborhood. What we have? Huh? Am I making sense, or you think I'm just running my mouth? Show me a black district, a black business district, let's put it that way. Show me a black business district in the city of Richmond after 30 years of black leadership. Am I making sense? Shockoe Bottom, Carytown, Scott's Addition, Brooklyn Park Boulevard becoming white now. All the areas is prospering for white businesses. And all the black businesses are scattered here, there, one over here. Look at all these crab places that are coming up. Now, when I had my little restaurant, I had live entertainment every weekend. People coming there and eating and have live bands and everything going on. Nobody else in town was doing that but me on a regular basis. Some of the clubs every now and then had a band. But as for the black restaurant, I was the only one that had live entertainment every weekend for you. Now, the Koreans have came in and put a stage in all these crab places, give you karaoke night, and playing some soul music, and you're packing the houses. Am I making sense? What's up, folks? When you go in these restaurants, these crab restaurants, we don't own none of them, but we're keeping them in business. Look at the beauty supply stores. What's going on? We don't own none of them. They don't put that money back in your community. They don't advertise. They don't send donations to your local church. But you keeping them prospering. And the black race is slowly going down. And you want to know why we have so many drugs and crime and other things going in black neighborhood. Is because the black community has been robbed of all economical sources. And it makes it hard for the 1 and 2 black businesses that pop up to survive when for 10 cents different, you'll drive a mile to save 10 cents and keep from going to a black store. This is black history. Y'all probably never heard nobody talk like this before. You might hear it in barbershop, beauty parlors, but you don't hear it in public like I'm giving it to you. We need to reorganize. And the churches, now don't get mad, but if you are in need other than a prayer, the church is the last place you can go to. Let your light bill be past due. Let your rent be behind. They send you to social services. After you done supported that church all your life with your tithes and your offerings every week. But when you are in need, and they preach that you should bring to the storehouse. The church is your storehouse. So when you're in need, you got somewhere to go to get some more, to get some help. But they're sure to feed you at Thanksgiving. You don't hear people talk like this. Now, the worst thing that we have done in the last 2-3 years, let me take a drink, was to let Kathy Hughes get away from Richmond. Kathy Hughes would have brought economic strength for the black community if y'all had listened and worked with her and stopped listening to whoever you were listening to telling you that casinos bring crime. We would have had 3 or 4 murders in the last 2 months. Excuse me? If you go to Atlantic City, Las Vegas, anywhere they got casino, the crime may be down the street, but that crime ain't nowhere near that casino because they got too many cameras and too much security, and they protect that casino and they protect their customers that come in there. Number one. Number two is the Pamunkey Indians is building a casino. The state of Virginia said we want 5 casinos. All the casinos had no issues except the one that was being built by a black person. Now this black history y'all need to listen to. It needs to sit down and examine what I'm saying to you. How come gambling is good anywhere in Virginia except when a black person is building the casino? Y'all need to go take a drink on that one. Me too. Now, you following what I'm saying? None of the casinos have offered what she offered in Richmond. And y'all let her get away. Going to another state. She wanted to bless Richmond economically, and you couldn't see the blessing that God had sent our way to Richmond, Virginia. She promised to build 2 early childhood development centers in Southside and put up $4 million trust fund so that it can be used for the operation of these 2 centers so it wouldn't cost the city any money. She agreed to write a check for $26 million the day that the agreement was, the bill was passed. If they had passed casino, they would have wrote a check for $26 million that week for the city of Richmond that was designated not to go into the average city of Richmond fund and get all screwed up, but the money was to be used for the schools and to help the community. That $25 million that she was giving them, plus the $30 million a year that the casino would have brought in as revenue. She agreed to build a movie studio, and she was going to bring all her work from Atlanta because she owns 2 TV stations, TV One and Clio, and all the work that was being done with the movies, the commercials, and all that stuff would have been brought to Richmond. That would open the door up for even more opportunities right here. She was going to be, she said, I'm going to be my first customer with the movies soundstage because I'm going to bring all my work, $10 million a year from down in Atlanta, and bring it to Richmond. Are you feeling what I'm saying? Y'all fought, not everybody, but some of you fought someone who was coming to Richmond and want to do a development, and it wouldn't have cost the citizens here one solid dime. She was going to build the streets, the street lights, the corners, everything. Put the water system in, everything. But y'all jumping up and down for this amphitheater that's being built where the city had to loan them money. And if you want to get technical about it, if you go back and look at your history book, when the Marriott Hotel came to Richmond, Henry Marsh negotiated a deal to loan them $34 million to build the Marriott. And then get set up another $9 million, so if they weren't making a profit, they had another $9 million they could have got until they got up on their feet. Who can't make money if somebody give you money to open up? What if the city gave you $1 million to tell you go open up a business, and I got another $500,000 over here, and if your business is not prospering by the time the notes come due, you come over here and get some more money. Folks, y'all not listening to what I'm saying. Or am I talking too fast? Or you can't understand the negotiations? The casino didn't ask for any money. Every project that came to the city of Richmond, the city had to put up your money, your tax dollars, even down to the Redskin camp. Then they had to wind up paying the Redskin $500,000 a year for them to come here for 30 days out of a month. But nobody objected. Then you have a black woman who said, I don't want none of your money. I'm going to give you some money. And I'm going to set up jobs for people. Hotel, park, pickleball playground, all this. And it don't cost a taxpayer near a dollar. And y'all ran the lady out of town. I'm Famous Brown. This is where I get down. And I'm not going to say no more tonight. If you'd like to hear more of what I know, what I've experienced, what I've seen, then you make notations down in the comments, and I come on back and I lay some more stuff down, a whole lot of stuff y'all wouldn't even really know happened right here in this city, because I'll carry you all the way back to Senator Lambert when Donald McGeechan and Henry Marsh crossed Senator Lambert to get him out of office because Senator Lambert was getting ready to be the chairman of the Finance Committee for the state of Virginia. That means he would been over top of all the money being spent. And the white folks didn't want it, and they put up two black folks. Excuse me now. This is how they operate. See, a lot of folks didn't know that next time around, Senator Lambert was already vice chairman. Next time around, he would have became the chairman. And one thing that I commend Senator Lambert was, every year, on the top of the budget, was money for historical black universities. He made sure that the black universities in Virginia got money every year. As soon as they got rid of him, St. Paul closed the doors. Everybody needed money. I ain't gonna tell y'all nothing else. Y'all don't want to hear this stuff. Good night. I'm Famous Brown. Sleep tight.